This motion is basically going to turn London's homelessness crisis into a homelessness wasteland.
London City Councillor David Ferreira was stunned to learn of a motion headed to CAP's committee.
As far as I'm concerned, this is going to be the manufacturing of a crisis.
4 councillors are proposing changes to get those living rough indoors and sooner. Councillor Susan Stevenson signed a motion with Jerry Pribble, Steve Lehman and Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis calling for nearly $2 million in funding for London Cares to be reallocated. Rather than having outreach workers deal with those on the street, they would use that money to expand services at 602 Queens Ave to 7 days a week.
Which would give people access to their basic needs, access to indoor space, washroom, showers, and laundry, which everyone agrees is needed, both in this extreme cold and in any extreme heat situation in the summer.
Ferreira sounded off to CTV about the proposal, fearing this motion is a setup to defund London Cares.
That outreach is pretty much the first line of defense, the first point of contact that all Londoners have to provide any services that we need for our encampments and for people who are out on the street. Taking that away means we have no outreach, which means that when you make a call, no one's going to answer.
London Cares Executive Director Chris Moss was speechless.
It seems like the entire agency is sort of on the block, so to speak, around our funding. To me, creates a system-wide burden that's going to happen.
He says wellness and overdose response, as well as new people to homelessness, would fall back on London police. The other part of this motion is calling for changes to the Stability Housing Program. It costs nearly $1 million. Councillors want funding to bring high acuity individuals into public housing.
Let's focus on the people coming out of the Heart Hub and the Quinton Warner House and make sure that they get housing, that there isn't a gap in service.
Ferreira believes this decision will
directly put people on the street. If we don't have a caseworker, the success rate of people in housing is not going to be there. And most likely, they're not going to be able to pay their rent within the first 2 months. And the numbers that you're going to see of people affected within the first couple months is in the hundreds.
That program also includes London Care's veteran portfolio.
We would end up with all of the housed veterans that we have, and we were the first city to reach 0 veterans in our community. All of that would be sort of undone, and I mean, it wouldn't take long for people, once they don't have the supports, to start to become destable and possibly fall back to the street again. So both of them are really terrible consequences.
Ferreira thinks this motion could be politically motivated.
If we don't stand up and say something now and stop this before you see this get traction and actually get approved, which I hope it doesn't, there's no way that I'm going to allow any of these councillors to point the finger at someone else. They created this, and this is what they're trying to create right now.
Brent, Lale, CTV News.